Sam Steez, know what the fuck going on. Yes, Lord. Bringing you a power rankings ladder, I guess you want to call it. A form ladder. I'm not sure what they might call it in Australia if they do have these, but I haven't seen anybody do any of these. So I want to go ahead and try one of these out. Recency, how well you're playing in recent weeks. Yeah, I want to do that at AFL. So let's try this shit out. AFL has been pretty interesting. So I'm gonna start from the top, bottom to top. So start from 18, go all the way to 1. At the 18 spot, I think I'm gonna go West Coast Eagles, bruh, at the bottom. Last 10 games, they're 1-9, 0-5 in the last 5 games, and they're on a 6-game losing streak. So I think they did earn the 18th spot right now this week, just because they are a bit more competitive than they are earlier in the year. But earlier in the year doesn't really say much, so it's hard to really give them too much praise, bro, until they win a couple games. At 17, I'm gonna go with North Melbourne. I'm going with North. They're on a 3-game losing streak at the moment. Excuse me for this, because I'm old school. I like the pen and paper rather than electronics when I'm getting stuff done. So North, though, 17, 3-game losing streak. They're also 1-9 in the last 10 games. 1-4 in the last 5 games, with that one win being against Richmond. So that is a good little win. Also another reason why I did elevate them above to 17 rather than being at 18. But yeah, North's been struggling, man. They don't look like they're giving us anything to go off of as far as going into next year. I think last year they were in a better spot than they are this year, so it'll be very interesting to see if they can even get any type of momentum going forward. So yeah, 16, I'm gonna go with GWS, the Giants. They're on a 1-game win streak. That win being against Essendon this past week. Didn't expect that win to happen, so that's a good surprise to them, because Essendon has been decent, really in the second half of the season. But in the last 10, they are 3-7, and still speaking of GWS. So they definitely are a bottom of the pack team. They've had a lot of turmoil this year, bro. Lucky with not playing as great as he can, and obviously the coaching change. And they look some type of decent, but they're still struggling, man. They don't look like they're ready to quite compete. They got to get some system shit going down before they really can do anything, I think, and be more competitive. So yeah, I'm gonna put them down there. At 15, I'm gonna go Port, bro. Port has been up and down a lot this season. You asked me like a month ago, maybe a little bit over that, they would have been higher on this power rankings if I had done them a little bit earlier. But as of now, they're on a 4-game losing streak. In the last 10, they're 4 and 6, excuse me. And last 5, they only won out of the last 5. So and that win being against GWS, who was a struggling side already, so you don't get too much points there. You lost to Richmond, Geelong, Collingwood, and Melbourne, which are all teams in the 8, but with a couple of those being in the top 4. But I will say, you just have to win games, bro, to rise on the power rankings, bro, if other teams are winning. So Port had a potential to be a little higher considering the games that they played, and they haven't been getting their ass completely whooped. But that being said, you still have to stay on 15 because other teams are doing a little bit more than you. Saints at 14, I'll go with them. They're on a 1-game losing streak. The last 10 games, they won 4, lost 6, and they also they're 2-3 the last 5, with 2 of those wins being against the Hawks and West Coast, which not too much praise for that. I will say the Hawks were surging in the moment when they did win, so that's a good little win there, I guess you can say. But they lost to the Bulldogs, Freo, and Geelong, which are all respectable sides, I'll say. So you don't take too much hits for the recent losses that you have. I think you're just still inconsistent. And Saints could have been a little higher on this list, but unfortunate circumstances have happened. Carlton, actually, shit, I really would like to say I'll take Carlton at 14, bro, because Carlton's on a 2-game losing streak at the moment. 4 and 6 out of the last 10, and 2 or 3 out of the last 5. I'm actually will go Carlton at 14, bro. Just considering the factors, bro. We have played tough teams too, like Brisbane, Adelaide, and Geelong, which are 3 of those losses that we have taken in the last 5. But and given the fact that we only beat West Coast and GWS, it's not looking good for us, bro. As far as the finals push, they're just looking. Carlton has no urgency, it seems like, at the end of the season. Ever since the bye, they've just been folding up, bro. And it's what I predicted, but it's a motherfucking shame, bro. Especially when you're in the 8 at the moment and you're down here on the power rankings. It shows how shit you're playing. So I will go with Carlton at 14. Saints at 13, already explained them. At 12, I'm gonna go Adelaide, the team that just beat Carlton. Adelaide has a 2-game win streak right now, so they're doing a little thing. They're upsetting teams, knocking teams off the rocker right now. In the last 10, they're 4-6, and they're also 2-3 of the last 10. Out of the 5. So with their wins coming against West Coast as well, and also Carlton, which is a sneaky good win to beat a team in the 8. But the losses come against Sydney and Collingwood, which are 2 tough squads, and also Hawthorn, who, like I said earlier, have been on a little surge at the end of this season right now. So kudos to Adelaide. They're finishing a little strong, and they are in this other 12th spot. At the 11th spot, I'm gonna have Gold Coast. They're on a 1-game losing streak. They're 5-5 of the last 10, so not too bad, not too bad. They did drop a couple games in the last couple weeks. I think that they should and could have won, and they could have still been in the chance to win, play finals, but they kissed that away. The 2-3 of the last 5, with the wins coming against West Coast and Richmond, which Richmond was a good win. And they lost to Brisbane, Hawks, and Essendon, which Essendon was a tough loss. That was one of the blows I was talking about that they took that they should have won, or they really just shit the bed. And the Hawks, bro, those are 2 games you got to win if you want to make finals. If Gold Coast, this was one of their best chances to win, to make it, and just didn't quite show the composure at the end of the season to be able to get over that hump. And I don't think they have a chance to win finals now. So at the 10th spot, I'll go Essendon. They've been playing pretty good, I'll say. They played pretty shit. They were down there at West Coast and North, and they were in that type of company at the beginning of the season. But they definitely turned it around, showed some heart, showed some competitiveness, and won some games. Took some games that people definitely wrote them off for, and I did. I'll say I'm one of them. But I have them at the 10th spot. They're on the log. They lost last week, but they're 5-5 in their last 10. 4-1. No, excuse me. 3-2 out of the last 5, and they won against North, Gold Coast, and Brisbane, which is a good win against Brisbane. I will say Brisbane did have a lot of layouts, I think, that game. So keep that in mind. But nonetheless, they won, and they haven't been having a full bit of health either. And they lost to GWS and Collingwood. So Collingwood is respectable. GWS is kind of showing the return of the old Essendon when that lost. So I kind of like the direction that they're going. They're finishing a little strong. They haven't just folded on the season, even though they know they're not making finals. But they've been playing a little stronger, man, and I'm kind of happy for that. Kind of not though, because my team's fucking trash. Another team at the 9th spot, I'll say, is the Hawks, bro. 1-game win streak, bro. 5 out of 5 of the last 10, but they are 4-1 of the last 5. And I will say there are teams that they should win against, but you can't knock teams for winning. Really, 4 of the last 5 in AFL footy in general, I don't think it's an easy feat. So congrats to the Hawks. I'll give them that. And they're moving up, bro. They beat Gold Coast, North, West Coast, and Adelaide, which are teams they should have beat, and they lost to the Saints. I think they could have beat the Saints as well, but Saints just turned in all that game. In the 8th spot, I have the Dogs. They're on a 2-game losing streak, but despite that, they have some good wins, bro. Have them 5-5. They have won 5-5 the last 10, 2-3 the last 5, and they beat Melbourne though. So that was a sneaky win. They got revenge for the grand final finally. So shout out to them boys. And they beat St. Kilda, which can be a scary team whenever they're on, but they handle business. They lost to Sydney, Geelong, and Freo, and all 3 of those teams are in the 8. So no shame there, considering Dogs are not in the 8 at the moment. And yeah, bro, I really flirted with putting them above Melbourne, which I have at the 7th spot, but just the head-to-head matchup with the Dogs beat Melbourne, I kind of have to have that little edge on them, considering that they both lost this past week. And the Dogs are on a 2-game losing streak, like I said. So Melbourne earned the 7th spot, 4-6 out of the last 10. That is the difference, though. They haven't been winning, but they have lost to tough teams, I'll say. 2 of the last 3. 2 out of the last 5 they won. Freo and Port, the teams that they beat. They lost to Collingwood, the Bulldogs, and Geelong. And so those are respectable teams, bro. Melbourne, they've been competitive at moments. They've been playing. Their footy looks good. Sometimes it's just the forward issue. Sometimes it's just they just don't play how they do. They play down the competition. So I think they're still definitely one of the tougher teams, though, bro. I don't have them that high on the power rankings, though, but I think they do deserve the 7th spot at least. Richmond at the 6th spot, I have 2-game win streak. Last 10, they have 5 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. 1 draw with Freo. In the last 5, they're 2-1. So the 1 draw. They beat Brisbane and Port, which are good wins, except Port kind of been sliding a little bit. and they lost to North, which is a big loss. Richmond should not have lost to North under any circumstance, I'll say. And they lost to Geelong, which is understandable. But I kind of was struggling a little bit with Freo and Richmond on this power rankings because they drew each other, and they both have their moments where they don't look the greatest, but they have moments where they can turn it up on you too. But I ultimately chose Freo over Richmond, and I chose Freo in the 5 spot. Really because the loss that the loss to North that Richmond took, bro. Freo, their losses, 2 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw in the last 5 as well. And their losses are Sydney and Melbourne, which are definitely way more respectable than losing to North, bro. Granted, their wins don't look as good with the Bulldogs and the Saints, but granted, they didn't lose to North. So they lost to teams that were in the 8, two that were in the top 4. So I think that's the difference, bro. Free only has 1 win as far as win streak. They're on a 1 win streak, but with all that being said, they are 6-3-1 in the last 10, and I think that gives them the 5 spot over Richmond. As far as the top 4 goes, I'm gonna go with Brisbane. They're on a 1-game win streak, 6-4 the last 10. Maybe not as good as you would like from Brisbane, but it's good enough for top 4 at the moment. 3-2 the last 5. Carlton, GWS, and Gold Coast are the wins, so not too impressive. They should beat all 3 of those teams, I would say. And they lost to Richmond and Essendon, which I would say they probably shouldn't have lost to either one of them teams. Maybe aside from Richmond, given how they can turn it on, but. Yeah, it was tough. Brisbane, they just don't get blown away. The one game that they really got blown away was by Melbourne, and that was weeks ago. And that's not really accurate as far as what's been going on in recent games with Brisbane, so I will say that. Yeah, Brisbane's at the 4 spot, and I don't think they're touching the top 3. 3 spot, I have Sydney in a 5-game win streak, 8-2 out of the last 10. 5-0 in the last 5. So Sydney been turning it on, bro. They seem like they're getting a little consistency issues worked out, and really at the perfect time, bro. I like what they're doing. I didn't think that they'll be able to do it, to be honest. I thought they would keep being iffy more so on the Saints side than they would as far as rather than just being able to find a consistency to their game. So well done to Sydney. I think they're doing good. They'll be a dangerous team if you have to line up against them in finals, and they're looking to cement that top 4 spot. So shout out to Sydney. I got them in the 3 spot. And the top 2, number 2, I have to have Collingwood, bro. They're at the 11-game win streak. They keep finding ways to just tough out these wins, bro. Regardless of who they're going against, they're not getting blown out, but they're also not doing the blowing out either, which I think may be the difference between the 1 and the 2 team in this week's power ranking. But Collingwood, they get it done, whether it's sloppy, whether it's dirty, old-fashioned, footy, whatever the case may be, bro. They can do it defending, they can do it attacking, and they're putting teams on notice, bro. I don't think teams really thought they were going to be this, bro. They were 17 on the ladder last year, and here they are sitting at number 2 right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, Collingwood's number 2. And the only reason they're not number 1 is because Geelong is on the same win streak, 11-game win streak, but except they're just not allowing teams to have the chance to even win the game. Certain games, Geelong's just blowing them away, bro. And I think it's more of a sure thing of going against Geelong. A loss at least going against Geelong than it is Collingwood. I think Collingwood will always give you that little chance, but Geelong just systematically set up, bro. They're looking good, bro. I don't know what their weakness is at the moment, bro. And that's what it is, bro. Geelong's just set up everywhere, midfield, forward, defending. Even last week, they didn't have a lot of their key players, bro. Their star players, the players they've been doing it with, and they're still winning games. So Geelong's just trying to tighten the grip up on the rest of the 8, man. But that's what I got, man, for the 1 through 18, 18 through 1. The power rankings, first time you heard it here, STEEZ. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, let me know in the comments. It was kind of hard for me, especially in the 5, 6 spot, the 7, 8. It was kind of hard. So if y'all disagree, let me know the reason why. Drop your power rankings in the comments and all that, man. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that, all the YouTube shit. We got the Patreon in the bio. Definitely don't forget to support us on that if you don't mind, man. If you want to support us with some monetary gains, man, we appreciate that. But other than that, I don't think I got nothing else for you, man. Look out for us this week coming up, going live, of course, you know, for this week's games. Looking forward to seeing y'all. And go fucking Pirates, man. Yes, Lord.